In ancient times, lack of proper knowledge was used by the demons to trick people into worshiping them, to hinder us from doing God's will. And when that was falling apart, they came up with this Stargate project, which you can read about in Genesis chapter 11. But also, this whole thing about this Tower of Babel, this Stargate, it was a distraction because mankind is on the earth. It was after the flood, so mankind had to populate and live on the earth, right? So why did they put their focus on the heavens? Well, their purpose is the earth. They live on the earth, they're born on the earth, they breathe the air on the earth. They eat and drink resources of the earth. So why would they be focused on the heavens? Well, it was a big distraction. That is what it was. So the focus was taken up of the earth and put on the heavens. Let's build a gateway that we can teleport ourselves into the heavens. Why would you want to teleport yourself into the heavens if you have your family, your friends, your farms, your whole life here on the earth? When Nimrod came with this Tower of Babel project, the children of Madai were moving more into Asia. And more of the tribes were moving away. They realized, whoa, there's far more lands. Why are we stuck here in these cities? They began to see that those cities in Mesopotamia were prisons. Yes, they were luxurious. Yes, life was relatively easier than on the field, but it was a prison. They realized this. And when that was going on, God confused the languages so that they had to populate the earth. So, look at this pattern. Lack of proper knowledge was used to trick people into false explanations to get them into worshiping the evil spirits so they wouldn't be able to do God's will. That's how demons were stealing worship from the Heavenly Father at the expense of the human species. And the sellouts amongst human species, they use violence and black magic to enforce this scam on the masses, and the masses often, just because they want to leave, got along with it. When the hoax was being exposed, they came with a distraction to keep the focus off of their assignment and on something else that was not relevant to them. And look at this, believer. The same thing those churches are doing. We talk about heaven, we're going to be raptured, and all this. Well, first of all, we're not going to be raptured. We're going to be here till the very end. During tribulation, we'll go through the tribulation, but we'll go through it in victory. And when the world retaliates and it doesn't work, the world will begin to self-destruct. They will begin to destroy everything, and then Christ will appear. This whole teaching of the secret rapture is nowhere found in Scripture at all. And even from a logical point of view, you can't justify it. So, this teaching of the rapture is used to trick believers away from doing what they're supposed to do in here and now. And then you have this age-old myth of going to heaven, even though we're built for the earth. Even Scripture says that we will return to earth. We'll be resurrected in physical, immortal bodies to live on the earth, to glorify Heavenly Father on the earth. The earth will be renewed. So earth is our destination. We are built for earth. The earth is our home. So why would God come down, go through all that trouble, He being crucified, He is risen again, and He's given us power to trample on scorpions, serpents, and the whole camp of the enemy, and nothing shall by no means harm us. Where? Here on the earth, in this lifetime. Why would He give us power to overcome violence and evil in this lifetime? And the same time tell us focus on heaven. No, He gives us power where? On the earth, not in heaven, on the earth. Because the earth is our destination, not heaven. If your focus is heaven, which is not your home, which is not designed for you, you are distracted to focus on something that's not relevant to you. Heaven is where we have our treasure, it's where our source comes from. But it's meant for us to also use it on the earth. Isn't it weird that all types of gangsters and gangster relations and all types of political denominations, they all focus on the here and now on the earth. They all want to be relevant now, but they tell believers focus on heaven. Focus on heaven and let Satan roam around and destroy everything. What is that? What's that about? So the same way, at the Tower of Babel, they distracted the inhabitants of the earth by putting their focus on the heavens instead of being focused on the here and now. The same thing those Babylon churches are doing today. Those Babylon churches are the modern day Tower of Babels. Why? Because they're meant to keep our focus away from the here and now. And by us not being focused on the here and now, we will not glorify them before the here and now. We won't shut down violence and evil in the here and now. And because we don't do that, because we're distracted, evil can have its free reign without being challenged. Look at the bigger picture, believers. We're here for the earth and will be on the earth forever. So any distraction that takes our focus off the earth is satanic and is BS. Keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.